Hi, everyone. Happy
Hello.
Monday. I hope
Happy
you all missed me
Monday.
last week. I know you didn't, though, because you had Becky here.
We did have
But
fun.
I'm sure you guys had a great time without me, but it's great to see you again, Carly.
It is
Hi.
good that you're back. I'm excited to talk about your trip. So should
Yay.
be a great time.
And I'm also excited that we've already got Orange Blossom and Tails in Derek's Corner checking in. Hello, folks. Welcome. We'll give some other folks a few seconds to jump into the chat before we kick this off. But yeah, I had a great trip to California. We'll talk about in just a second. But I will say, perfect weather. Um, uh, really enjoyed my stay at the Desert Palms Hotel right there in
Great
Harbor
one.
Capella. Great hot breakfast for a hotel under $200 a night.
Can't
One
beat
of the
it.
best breakfasts on the block. But there wasn't a lot new to see. Like I always like seeing Soarin' over California. They brought it back
Of
early.
course. Yeah.
But I had to leave. I got to see them set up all the food booths for food and wine, but didn't get to try any of
Oh,
them because they didn't open until after I left. So that
no.
was a
Yeah, I've been
bummer.
hooked on that coverage.
Yeah. I will say I was quite shocked reading all of the menus and seeing how short they were this year. Previous years, you'd have multiple food options, multiple drink options. This year, a lot of the booths had one food, two drinks, and that's it.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe they're trying to pare it down operationally. I'm sure that'll help the lines move faster. But yeah, it did seem to be a cutback in the selections.
Yeah,
So
I was really surprised by that, but yeah, I mean, their operations always have needed help. It doesn't work as smoothly as Epcot
they've got
does.
that whole thing where you order and then you pick up, and you can order from place this. You can order from one place, pick up in another.
I
It's
hate that,
great,
to be
great
honest.
in concept, but
Yeah.
it's never really worked out well for me. So
No, the last time I ordered 2 drinks because I didn't wanna get in line twice, and I lost the receipt after the
yep,
first one.
exactly,
So it's
exactly.
yeah, I mean, we're not meant to carry paper around when we're at Disneyland.
No, amen. We're meant to be staring at our phones.
Yes.
Anyway, what do you say? We got some folks watching, so let's kick this thing off,
Yep.
shall we? In three, two.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I am Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. And Carly, I missed you last week because I was off in California. I hope you had a great time with Becky without me, and I hope your week has been good since then.
Yes, we missed you too. We had a great time. So many new deals have come out for Disney World, Disneyland, and Disney Cruise Line. And I was basically pumping her for all the information that could
Yep.
possibly come out because she is a treasure trove.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
there's so many, like travel advisors out there that don't like, walk the walk, they talk the talk. Becky
Oh,
is literally on a cruise
she's
every
on top of
single
it.
week. Yeah. I'm like, this
Mhm.
woman has been on 100 cruises. She's been on the new Disney Destiny like 5 times already. So
Right.
I'm like, I just love chit-chatting with her. So we had
Yeah.
a fun time.
That's fantastic. Well, I had a pretty great time in California as well.
Yes.
I won't go into the details of everything I did. Be posting some of it up on the unofficial guides pretty soon.
Wonderful.
Or you can check out my social media. But I will say, I know you wanted to hear about Napa Rose.
Yes.
And I got to say, it was an absolute bucket list experience. Top
Well, let's
10,
first explain
one of the
what
top
Napa
10
Rose
dining. Yeah,
is.
so
I feel like a
Napa
lot of
Rose.
people don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
so Napa Rose is the signature fine dining restaurant at the Grand Californian Hotel, which is the signature luxury hotel at the Disneyland Resort. The closest equivalent we would have in Walt Disney World would be Victoria and Albert's.
Yep.
Um, this is probably the best restaurant that is within 20 steps of a theme park. And I will say, just for comparison's sake, the night before we ate at Napa Rose, we went to Carthay Circle because I hadn't done the full dining experience there
You know
in
what?
several years.
Was really excited to hear about that too,
Yeah.
because I go and I don't love it. And I saw that you were there. So I
Yeah.
wanted to hear, especially dining there before Napa Rose.
So here's what I'll say. It is the same head chef. Andrew Sutton is the head chef of both Carthay and Napa.
Mhm.
I'm sure he's very hands-on in both places, but he was
Right.
literally physically there in Napa, making eye contact with us our whole meal. Whereas in Carthay Circle, he has his, the chefs that he's trained take care of everything. Here's the thing with Carthay Circle: absolutely gorgeous room, beautiful, with lots of 1930s Disney memorabilia to look at. Very good food. It was better food than the last time that I
Yeah.
ate there. Some of my old favorites, like the cheddar biscuits and the duck wings, all long gone, not coming back. But the soup and the salad were both very good. We had a very good wild mushroom risotto, and their signature pork chop. If you like pork chop, is a huge portion, great value. We had leftovers that we took home. It was a ton of food. And the one thing I will say, though, that has not improved is the service. They
Yeah.
are friendly, but weirdly inattentive and strangely paced.
Yes.
And
If you forgot you were in a theme park for a
yes,
second because of the setting, you'll remember quickly with the service. That's kind of
it,
how I always have
it,
felt there.
it was both. They managed to both not be there and take weirdly long periods of time for things like getting our drinks, and then strangely rushed when food pacing came to. So
Yeah.
it was an hour and a half meal that felt like it was 2 hours. Whereas Napa Rose was a 2.5 hour meal that felt less than 2 hours. Napa Rose was absolutely perfectly paced. And I will say, comparing them head to head, our meal at Victoria and Albert's was wonderful. But I felt ill the entire next day
Oh,
just
I
from
remember.
overindulgence.
We were quite
And
sick.
it was intimidating. It was exhausting. It was like
Rich.
running a food marathon.
Yeah.
And every single course was just so overwhelming. This was, in terms of quality, I'd say almost or just as good, but it wasn't as stuffy. It wasn't as intimidating.
Cheaper.
It was very Californian. It's
Yeah.
sophisticated, it's creative, but it's not overly formal, and it's approachable while still elevated. The chef's sauces are incredible. The meats, the vegetables, all great, but the things he does with reductions, he like takes chicken and reduces it down to the purest essence of chicken.
Yeah.
They're bold flavors. Nothing was overwhelmingly spicy, but things were really earthy. Like, you taste the dirt that things were grown in, usually in a good way. I will say, as someone who loves gamey food, the rack of lamb was a little too much for me. It was so minerally. It was almost like a liver instead of what I'm used to. It was a rack of lamb that had like the eye of the rack wrapped up in shoulder, and shoulder is already a really gamey cut. So I'll say that one you might want to think twice about. But the fish, the chicken, every course was
And
just
there's returning
fantastic.
favorites from classic Napa Rose.
Yeah, it's been so long since I
Okay.
ate in the main dining room that I honestly couldn't tell you which the returning ones were.
The mushroom cappuccino,
Oh,
which is like
that
the
was the
signature.
amuse-bouche
Yeah.
that you start with, and I wanted a bowl of that.
Yeah.
It was
So
like
good.
it was like a Campbell's cream and mushroom soup died and went to heaven. Yeah, that was an amazing way to start the meal, and the the elevated reinvention of a chocolate candy bar. Costs like it tastes like a Butterfinger, and a whatchamacallit had a baby. Phenomenal. Every course amazing. Here's the thing I got to warn you about, though. Not quite in the same price level as Victoria and Albert's.
Right.
However, the fixed price dinner for two without any of the caviar add-ons and only one glass of wine per person, after tax, after gratuity, you are talking well over $500, approaching $300 per person. So this is not a once a month or a once a year meal for most of us.
Yes, you will find me at the lounge, which also is fully redone, new menu. They have a new interpretation of the smiling tiger shrimp, which is like one of their famous dishes, and you don't have to do the whole main dining thing.
And I will say we went back the next night to do the lounge.
Yes.
If you want to do the lounge, show up right around when it opens. I think it's 5 or 5:30. Show up. We were able to snag a table, not just a seat at the bar, but they actually gave us one of these gorgeous old-fashioned semicircular booths, just for the two of us. So cozy. Service there was also great, and you are paying about $25 for what they call a sharing size plate, which would be called an appetizer or a large tapas anywhere else. But actually, two of those, one per person and one drink per person, was a fairly satisfying light meal. I wouldn't say we were stuffed, but the cocktails, I had a fantastic old fashioned and not insanely overpriced, $20-ish, which is about what you pay in a really nice restaurant for a top shelf cocktail these days.
You're paying that at like La Cava, for a margarita. So
you can definitely have a Napa Rose experience in the lounge for under $100 a couple. But if you've got a 50th anniversary, or celebrate that your company just sold for $1 billion or something like that, this is the place to celebrate. And I will say, beyond the quality of the food and the quality of the service, we had a fantastic waiter who was also a sommelier, and I swear he might have been Stanley Tucci's younger brother. Just really entertaining guy. They had not started seating the chef's table seatings. I believe those are starting next week. But we were sat the closest you get to the chef's table, and there was no one in between us and the chef.
Amazing.
And we were just watching him controlling the pass all night. It was like Food Network, seeing him reject dishes, but no yelling, no throwing, no breaking any plates. And he came over and had a really nice conversation with us at the end of the meal. It was a really intimate, elevated experience, and if it is something that fits into your budget, keep in mind they don't accept annual or Magic Key discounts even, so you're paying full fare, but I do feel like you are getting what you pay for. It is definitely an experience worth having.
Absolutely. So, and it's different than Disneyland's different than Disney World. You don't really have many elevated experiences. Like this is the creme de la creme. So if you want to whoop it up, that's where you're going to go.
Carthay Circle, solid. Blue Bayou, horribly overrated. But if you do want something to splurge on, put this one on your bucket list. Something else to put on your bucket list also, if you are out taking a trip to Anaheim, in addition to Disneyland, I also swung by Knott's Berry Farm.
Yay!
Gotta have the fried chicken, of course. And keep an eye out for a show in Los Angeles called Puppet Up. If you are a fan of the Muppets and not the watered down, kid-friendly Disney Muppets, but the true anarchic, adult madness that Jim Henson originally came up with. His son Brian Henson produces this show that is basically Whose Line Is It Anyway? R-rated with puppets.
Yeah. It is
Um,
quite dirty. It's
it
good.
it is not. I will say it is sometimes boundary pushing, and there
Yes.
is 4-letter language, but it is not just cursing for cursing's sake.
No.
They are really sharp. They are really witty. They did a parody of Wuthering Heights, or I would say Wuthering Heights, the new movie, as a middle school a show, all done with sausages, all done with talking hot dogs.
Well, I have a
And
talking hot dog puppet at
yes,
home.
I brought
One of my
one
most
home.
prized possessions.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, this is just a must do for fans of improv comedy, of Muppets. Brian often shows up at the first and last performances of each run, and he gave this really lovely, almost like Criterion Collection kind of lecture about his parents and the origins of the show. They recreate some classic bits from the 60s that were originally done by Jim and Jane and Frank Oz. Just an amazing evening, and he's so accessible. He, even though we didn't have meet and greet tickets, he came out and talked to people afterwards and shook hands. So definitely that's something that is worth planning a trip around.
Amazing. Yeah, I think they do like a few dates in July usually, spring, and then like in the winter.
You never know where they might pop
Yeah.
pop it up. They've been everywhere from like Aspen Comedy Festival to Las Vegas to they were even at Knott's Berry Farm for Not
Yes.
Scary Farm. So yeah, keep an eye on that. All right, so we have chatted plenty. It is a good thing we do not have a ton of things.
Yes, I was very excited to hear about all of your
I'm glad I could fill some time.
Yes. Did you eat anything in the parks that was yummy this trip besides all your fancy food?
Other than Carthay Circle, the only other thing I made a point of trying was Harbor Galley is always one of my guilty favorites.
Yes.
They've gone through various seafood-based sandwiches over the years.
Started
as the humble tuna. They worked their way up to the lobster roll, which had its good periods and its periods.
Yeah.
They are now on a shrimp and crab roll, and I will say this one was really quite good. It's C crab, not K crab.
Yeah.
And it actually had chunks of like jumbo, like lump crab meat, not just like the stringy little shreds. And it was like 95% actual shrimp and crab with minimal filler. It wasn't too much mayo, wasn't too much veggies. I would say that was one of the better things I've had there in years. And those hot, fresh baked chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Hit that place for lunch, because by dinner time those sell out for very good reason.
It tastes like like a grandma made the cookies. Like they're just like so
warm and go. Yeah, absolutely excellent. I would say those were the standouts of this trip. All right, let us, without any further ado, jump right on into the news in the queue. All right, first up in this week's news, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is coming soon, summer 2026, to Hollywood, and we have our first look at all 4 ride vehicles, which have now been revealed, along with a beautiful graffiti mural in the load station for what will be Universal Studios Hollywood's first real serious outdoor coaster ever.
Yes. So we had previously learned about one vehicle, which was the iconic Dodge Charger. And they've been keeping the rest under wraps. They had covers when they were testing vehicles, and now we know everything. And reading this really humbled me because I know totally nothing about cars.
I'm right. I am right there with you. I am not a gearhead
I'm like, it's
either, but
red.
I have been following the Fast and Furious movies, yet another guilty pleasure of mine, since the first one, coming up on a quarter century of Fast and Furious
Wow.
movies, right? Um, and so, if you've even seen one of them, Dom Toretto's iconic black Dodge Charger. And we got to see this lead car back at IAPA in
Yep.
person. Beautiful, that chrome engine block sticking out of the top. We knew that was going to lead the pack, but we have the other three cars that are in the train now. And they are the Mazda RX-7, Nissan Skyline GTR, and Toyota Supra. Each got their own color, working headlights, really authentic stylings. I got to say, Intamin has really been knocking it out of the park. A lot of other coaster manufacturers, they'll change the shape of a wing or something, change the paint scheme, but one coaster vehicle looks pretty much like another.
Right.
Intamin, you've got everything from Gringotts to Hagrid's motorcycles, to the Velocicoaster, to now these. We've seen roller coaster cars that looked like real automobiles before, like the Italian stunt job coaster, but I don't think that we've ever seen one that was like this well detailed and licensed and authentic before that I can think of.
Absolutely. Yeah. And these are inspired by real vehicles and characters from the
Mhm.
film
From the film.
franchise,
Yeah.
so they didn't just like make this up. So there's story, they're tied to something, someone, and they look just amazing as a
Yeah.
non-car person. They look awesome.
And so we've not only got pictures for you on our website at attractionsmagazine.com of the vehicles, but also some footage. Very exciting. We've been watching testing for quite a while now, but now we have video of what they're going to look like unveiled, with the zebra wrappers taken off. Playing a little bit of video here. I might have to mute this for monetization purposes. But you'll be able to see some test footage of the cars drifting through the turns as they do what I think we're all pretty sure is controlled rotations. This is not just randomly spinning with weight. They're designed to face a different direction, so you feel like you're drifting through the turns. And I can't wait to ride this. I hope their definition of summer is early summer, and not late summer, because I can't wait to ride this.
Same. Yeah, I'm hoping it's open before Halloween Horror Nights, but we
Mhm.
know theme park
Oh,
seasons
please.
aren't really accurate.
One last I want to mention. I mentioned the mural. This is going to be found inside the load station, and this is freehand spray painted, the entire thing by Tristan Eaton, who is a world-renowned artist. So definitely check that out as you are waiting for your ride.
Yes, it's such a nice backdrop to the ride vehicles.
Very colorful. All right. Next up, in other Universal news, both Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando are going to be celebrating the release of the new Super Mario Galaxy movie with merchandise, photo opportunities, and the chance to meet Yoshi in person.
Yeah.
This all kicks off on March 10th, which is known as Mario Day, MAR10, Mario.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cute, and that's going to run all the way through the April 10th release of the new movie. And I got to say, there was so much hype and ramp up to the first Super Mario movie. This one is kind of snuck under my radar, but it's still all the same voice cast.
Yeah.
All the same voice cast. You got Jack Black, you've got Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, all coming back to reprise their roles.
But we don't care about the film. We care about
we care about what's going on in the theme
guy.
park. Right. And I think the exciting part of this, we've already seen in the parks on a regular basis, Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach. Toad has popped up, though he's had some costume issues over the time. Yoshi, I believe he was part of, or he was supposed to be part of the first Universal Fan Nights out in
Yes.
Hollywood. Never been seen before in Epic Universe. Well, you will be able to get your chance to see him in both places this year.
He's like Santa. He's in both.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Yeah, so Yoshi will be a meet and greet, walk around character, and he will be making appearances inside Super Nintendo World on both coasts.
And he is adorable, as is all the meet and greets in Super
Yes.
Nintendo World.
Also super adorbs are these new shoulder pals, interactive Luma lovable star creature shoulder pals that will magnetically sit on your shoulder in either blue or yellow, and they've got light and sound. If they get close to one of their friends, they will communicate back and forth.
Adorable. It's like the
Yep.
last thing I need, but it's just so cute. It's like the merch there is so good.
So they've got also, of course, you'll be able to see the movie itself at both the Universal City Walk Hollywood Cinema and the Universal Cinemark at City Walk Orlando. And you'll be able to enjoy all of these celebrations, the photo ops, the merchandise, and also special foods, including a Rosalina cupcake available in the Super Nintendo worlds, and multicolored galaxy popcorn.
Oh, the cutest food. I love it.
All going to be available daily from March 10th through Monday, April 13th. All right. And next, in other news, one of the worst kept secrets in the theme park business. We have talked many times before, speculation about Six Flags selling off some of their parks. And just as recently as 2 weeks ago, we got a very curse-flat denial from Six Flags CEO in an earnings report, just saying, we got nothing to talk about. Well, now they have something to talk about.
And it's enchanting.
Yes, enchanting. Some enchanted theme park. Yes, Six Flags announced on March 5th that, yes, they have made the decision to sell 7 of their theme parks, and they are being sold to a retail investment trust called EPR Properties, an American-based called REIT, R-E-I-T, if you're into business acronyms. These folks own a number of what are called drive-to attractions. These are small, regional, local water parks, theaters, family entertainment locations, or ski resorts. These are the kind of things that, like, you'd hop in the car and take a day trip to.
Right.
Not
Regional
something that you would
activities.
plan a big family vacation around. And that kind of makes sense because, for the most part, the parks that are part of this deal are not ones that are drawing people from across the country. They're local parks. And the parks that we are talking about here are Valley Fair in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri, Michigan's Adventure in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Schlitterbahn Water Park in Galveston, Texas, Six Flags St. Louis in Missouri, Six Flags Great Escape in Queensbury, New York, and Six Flags La Ronde in Montreal, Canada.
Yes. Not a surprising list. Yes.
Not a shocking. These are definitely these are not Knott's Berry Farm, Cedar Fair, Kings Island level parks. These are all parks that are definitely on the lower end of Six Flags's attendance and interest and investment, honestly. And if you are a local fan of these parks, you might be breathing a sigh of relief, because this might mean that they get some more TLC,
right?
Because they've kind of been neglected. I think a lot of fans of these parks, especially this last one here. I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, here's some a little bit of details, some by the numbers. These parks altogether got about 4.5 million guests a year and generated about $260 million in net revenue. So
Yeah,
that's
that
like
number
a
shocked me.
fraction
Yeah.
of what one of the Orlando parks would get. I mean, that's like
Absolutely.
less than
I
SeaWorld
literally, I was like,
Orlando.
is this a typo? Because we're talking about 7
7
attractions,
parks. Yeah.
7 parks. And I was like, wow, that number's smaller, but it makes sense when you think of it in the scope of things.
And so 260 million in net revenue. They are buying this for only $342 million. And 315 of that is going to be coming from EPR. The tenants who are going to be operating these parks are providing the rest. And that's kind of a key point. EPR owns things. They own real estate. They don't run things.
Right.
The folks who are going to be running these are, as we speculated, due to some trademark filings, they're called Enchanted Parks Company. All of them, that's the 6 parks in the United States. And the last park, LaRonde, we'll talk about in a second. But Enchanted Parks Company are the folks that are going to be actually doing the day-to-day operations. And, I think this could actually be, as I said, good news for folks who love these local parks, because they might get a little more. Six Flags took away the local presidents. It was all being managed,
Right.
from high on a corporate pyramid, and now it should be managed more by people who are closer to the actual attractions.
Absolutely. And like you said, I mean, these parks were not a priority. They're not getting these big Winterfest events or Scarowinds, or if they do, they're getting scaled back versions. So this, I think, is a good thing.
I think one thing that is also worth pointing out, as they go into detail on the FAQ that they posted on Six Flags blog, this will have absolutely no effect on folks like me who just bought one of those annual passes that includes all of the parks. None of these changes are going to have any impact at what they claim during the 2026 operating season. They will figure out the transition in the downtime, because these are all regional parks that are not year-round, seasonal. So you've got this whole current 2026 operating season to use your annual pass if you bought them, use whatever tickets. Nothing's changed right now. They will even give you a refund if the idea of Six Flags selling these parks offends you or whatever. You don't want your annual pass. They'll give you a refund right now, which is something they don't even have to do, really.
Closing very soon. So they said like around the end of Q1, which is the end of this month, early April. So change is happening.
Yeah, but for now, the changes are going to be behind the scenes, and for this current season, it should be business as usual. I want to just take a minute to talk about LaRonde, because I've mentioned before that I went on a visit there and had kind of a rough visit. A lot of operational issues under Six Flags' management. I'm kind of encouraged to see that LaRonde will be operated by a company called LaRonde Operations Inc., which is owned by Kiernan Burke. Kiernan Burke, he was at one time a CEO of Six Flags. And actually, that's when LaRonde joined Six Flags, when he was chairman of Six Flags. Right. So he knows the park and its relationship really well. He also is the owner of Premier Parks. They own and operate a bunch of parks across Canada. So he knows that market. And, he talks about having gone to Expo 67, which is where LaRonde is, as a kid, has a real personal connection to it, and kind of acknowledges that things are not great at LaRonde now. So
why aren't they great?
It's just operationally. I spent a day there and barely found my way into the park. Their parking situation, their signage situation, they're just basics of getting in, getting out, and getting anywhere were very challenging. And single train operations. They're very lucky that Canadians are very polite and very patient people.
Yes.
Because if you ran a park like that in America, they'd be burning down the roller coasters before midday. I wish LaRonde operations the best and Enchanted Parks. Hopefully, they can revitalize those parks, because it could have been worse. These parks could have been sold off to real estate developers who would have just strip mined them and turned them into housing, or I don't know, shopping
condos.
centers,
Yep.
Amazon delivery centers.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with condos, because we need more housing in this country, but that's a whole nother
luxury
topic.
condos.
Yeah. Whole nother topic. All right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of this week's News in the Queue. Before we jump into our main attraction, it is time to hear a word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at MEI-Travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
All right, for our main attraction, we are heading to the high seas with Mickey. We got a first glimpse of the Disney Adventure back when it sailed into Port Canaveral. It has made the crossing through the Panama Canal. It is on its way to Southeast Asia for its home port in Singapore. And they have celebrated this by christening the new ship with its godfather, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man / Dr. Doom himself. We'll figure out how that works in the upcoming movie. But we've got some pictures of Captain Mickey and Minnie celebrating the christening of the Disney Adventure, along with Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro. And we have our first kind of detailed photos showing just how closely the ship matches the concept art that we've been looking at over the last year or two.
Yes, they had a preview sailing this past weekend. I was glued to social media. It was mostly like 99.9% Asia and Australia influencers.
Yep.
And many of them, so it was a little hard to follow because many of them had never been on a Disney cruise. So a lot of the information was like not correct, but I really was just watching to see what things look like.
It is kind of fascinating to see how a totally different market, a different culture that has never been exposed to this kind of vacation before reacts to it. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fascinating. And yes, I was glued to it. I know so many people were. I mean, really got, for the most part, like almost everything was operational.
Yeah,
I think
impressive.
The roller coaster just started working towards the end. So we've been able to see pretty much everything.
Yeah. So let's start from the top, and we encourage you to head on over to attractionsmagazine.com so you can see all of these photos for yourself. But the heart of the ship is the open air Disney Imagination Garden. And it is, I actually, the first time I looked at the photo, I was like, oh, we accidentally put the concept art in there. It's like, no, that's an actual photo. It's this big open air kind of atrium space with a large castle. It kind of resembles the Shanghai Park Castle, along with Sorcerer Mickey. And this is a location of a couple quick service dining locations, and it's a really charming spot right in the center of the ship.
Yes, that was kind of what I was most pleasantly surprised about in the video footage that I did see. And there's rooms right on this that look out onto it. This is beautiful. It's almost like, reminds me a lot of Central Park on Royal Caribbean ships, but with a little bit more of like a fantasy feel. It looks absolutely even stunning in video, which is sometimes really hard to portray. Looked great.
It's definitely a little more whimsical and cartoonish than that Central Park on the
Yep.
Royal. Also not quite as vast. Like it's like a skyscraper on the Royal Caribbean, and this is
Mhm.
I don't think only like 3 or 4 levels of balconies, so a
Yeah.
little bit more intimate. Uh, though there's really nothing. It's hard to use the word intimate about this ship. This is a
Yeah.
big
Oh,
ship.
yeah.
The other interesting thing that separates the ship from the domestic Disney ships is they've got this Disney Adventure Town Square, and it's this kind of central area that celebrates the various princesses. You've got a statue of Snow White and her wishing well, but you also got the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique there. You've got a buffet there. And then you've got this hidden entrance to the Spellbound Lounge, which is the Evil Queen's lounge, which is definitely a place that I would love to hang out.
Yes. And this ship doesn't have a grand hall like we know from Disney
Mhm.
ships because they bought a ship that was already being
Mhm.
constructed. So I think this is sort of like
This is their
their
version of it,
answer,
yeah.
to the grand
Yeah.
hall.
Yeah, and it also leads to the Walt Disney Theater, which is where they've got their Broadway-style shows, including this all-new show we've talked about before, featuring Wall-E.
Yes.
Um,
And people said it's really great.
Another fun feature, we've seen Pirates of the Caribbean themed bars on previous ships, but this is the first Captain Hook theme bar, or we had a previous Captain Hook theme
Yeah, and
bar.
so in Hook's Barbary is
That's
the
right. You're absolutely right.
Disney, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so ignore me. Jeff, you can delete that. So this is Buccaneer Bar is inspired by Captain Hook. I love the kind of window with his collection of different hooks, especially the corkscrew hook
love
when
it.
he's got to open a bottle of wine. We've got a great video up if you want to check that out on our YouTube
And I
channel.
believe they serve the Dead Man's Chest, which is also on the Destiny, which is the drink that's in the treasure chest that like has smoke. I saw pictures of that.
Ooh.
A lot. I was studying the menus. You'll see a lot of familiar favorites from Disney Cruise Line. Obviously, a lot.
They kind of
more
went
like
cherry picked the
Asian.
best.
Yeah, so they've like definitely cherry picked some like fan
Mhm.
favorite appetizers and entrees and rotational dining, plus all stuff influenced by that market and their tastes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of influenced by the Asian market's tastes, what looks to me is one of the best themed areas on any cruise ship is San Francisco Street. And I will go as far to say, just from the few little pictures we have, they did a better job of making San Francisco here than they did in Disney California Adventure. California Adventure, they just kind of slap some paint and posters up. This is like a whole little Asian night market, a street with little false roofs. I love the kitty cat sleeping on the roof.
And it's
The
just
paper lanterns.
Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing it in person, but if it looks this amazing in pictures, I can't even imagine what it looks like in person.
And you can find here entrances to the Duffy and Friends shop, and of course, you've got to have a shop devoted to Duffy if you're in Asia.
Yes, although I will say, I was a little bummed. A lot of the merch is already merch that's in Asian theme parks, so there's really not a lot of like exclusive to the ship. Hopefully, they will come out with more. There's like a pin, but they are doing a fun scavenger hunt. It's like a Duffy and Friends scavenger hunt where if you complete it, you end at the shop and you get a little sailor hat for your Duffy doll, which is adorable. But I'm hoping for more exclusive.
Those are going to show up on eBay.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That'll be very sought after. And the other thing that I love, I miss going to the movies on Disney cruise ships. My first few cruises on the Magic, it was something we did a lot, especially on this ship since it's doing cruises to nowhere. You don't have ports to explore. Going into having not just one movie screen, but a 4-screen cinema themed to Baymax, I think that's a really cool idea. I know I would spend some time there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's also arcade and family friendly action game called Super Fred Kaiju Chaos. Like you put on a virtual battle suit and run through the streets of San Francisco. There's also a Go-Go Racers training simulator, which looks a lot like Dance Dance Revolution to me.
Mhm.
But all sorts of, unique, fun, custom video games, interactive games to play. This is definitely an area where if I took a cruise on a ship, I would spend a lot of time.
Oh
The
yeah.
other area I would spend a lot of time is up on Marvel Landing, which is like a little mini theme park land at sea. First time Disney has done actual rides other than a water coaster. You've
Yes.
got Baby Groot, adorably
Baby
standing
Groot
on top of his Groot Galaxy Spin, which is a kind of a little Dumbo style
flat ride.
spinner
Yeah.
or flat ride, teacup style. You got the Quantum Racers, which is a little drive around little cars, and the e-ticket is the Iron Cycle test run. Did you watch the videos of people on this?
I have. Yes, I did. It looks really fun.
I pleasantly surprised, having been on Bolt, which is on the Mardi Gras
Mhm.
Carnival ship. Same manufacturer, wasn't too impressed with that. This looked a lot more fun, more interesting track layout. You don't just turn left. You get to make this circuit 30 feet above the decks, and the minimum height requirement is just over 47 inches, so should be pretty accessible for most of the family.
Right. Yeah. And again, like you said, I mean, this is a cruise to nowhere. So going
You
in
can
a
have,
different direction with the rides is a good thing to try out.
yeah. I am curious how they are going to manage queues.
Yes.
If they are going.
So yeah, I've been again like following a lot. This is definitely a different Disney Cruise Line experience than what we are used to from the previous ships,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that a lot more schedules, a lot more bookings, a lot more
Mm-hmm.
queues. Your shows, you can't just roll up when you want to go.
Yeah.
You're assigned what night you're seeing a show and what time you're seeing a show, because it's like
Yeah.
on a regular Disney Stanley, you can go to the show whenever you want. If you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
go to your dinner, this you're set. A lot of the characters, I saw Shelly May, only a virtual queue. Some of the food that is like the included food, a virtual queue. So I think, the capacity for the ship is very high. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to
So
deal with that.
so if you do Disney cruises instead of going to Disney World because you don't like being at your app constantly refreshing it, trying to get a lightning lane, maybe this is not the cruise ship for you, right?
Yes.
And okay, continuing on, the Disney Discovery Reef, kind of like that open air atrium we talked about at the top, but this one is themed to underwater tales like Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo, and
cute.
Luca.
Mhm.
Very adorable. I love these coral-shaped chairs. And you can find some eateries and cafes, including bewitching bobas and brews, and a Luca-themed Italian tavern. And then in the back of the ship, they've got an area that is a combination pool during the day and amphitheater for a Moana-themed musical at night. You've got a Toy Story-themed water play area with the mandatory water slides. No water
Mhm.
coaster, though, on this, but plenty of splash pads. And that is about it. It is quite an extensive collection. And I'm looking forward to seeing more coverage come out as they head towards full operations.
Yes. So literally, I think any minute now, I don't know what time it is there, but
Yeah.
literally within hours, the first true guests for the maiden voyage are going to be booking.
I
Are
was-
going to be boarding. So
I was just about to say, we are recording this on March 9th, East Coast time. But of course, they are ahead of us.
12 hours from us. So
Yep.
wow.
So it is March. It will be March 10th.
Yep.
Pretty soon, by the time you listen to this, if you're listening to the podcast, the first real guests will be on Disney Adventures Maiden Voyage. Very
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah. Very, very exciting. Totally different. They're trying new things. And again, this is not for us in the American market. This is for the Asian market. Different tastes, different styles. Sure. So I'm excited to see the feedback and how it goes and with capacity and whatnot.
Yep. Lots of exciting stuff happening. And before we wrap up this week's episode, we want to take a look back at a few of the comments that we got. Sonia checked in to say hi, as did our good friend John Self. Hello. Brian Tull, he saw some of the Disney Adventure Ship, thought it was amazing. And Brian Sager watched the live stream for Adam the Woo's memorial service in Garden Grove, California yesterday. Yes, it was on his father's YouTube channel. You can look up that. Huge outpouring, lots of people watching, and our thoughts are with Adam's family.
Yeah.
And finally, I want to give a shout out to our friend Eric O. Eric schlepped me around, went with us to Knott's and to the Puppet Up show. So thanks for being a friend, Eric. Appreciate it. All right. That is going to bring us to the end. But before we go, we want to thank our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. We also want to encourage you to purchase your copy of our Epic Universe magazine, available both in print while supplies last and in digital copies at our website. And please, I want to remind you to give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you happen to listen to us, and also a like and subscribe on YouTube. Also, be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media platforms. Carly, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yes, I can be found at Adventures by Carly.
And you can find me at S. Kuberski and at The Unofficial Guides, and pick up copies of my 2026 guidebooks at theunofficialguides.com. And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun, and we will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.